Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today we're going to pick up a cheap Volkswagen Golf convertible that I've agreed to buy for just £4,000. And I quite like the Golf convertible. This replaced the EOS. Now the EOS, I didn't really rate at all. In fact, I thought they were a steaming pile of garbage. But the Golf convertible, they're alright. You see, the EOS was really unreliable. It had a folded metal roof and it would always leak and jam, and then it would cost you thousands to get repaired. Whereas the Golf convertible, the later one, they went back to using a simple canvas roof. It looks more elegant and it's far more reliable. And I mean, we're fully in spring now, so it is the perfect time to buy a cheap convertible car. I just know this will sell. I haven't actually seen this car yet, so I don't want to count my chickens, but it's come from a reliable source. This has been traded in with a local main dealer. It's too old and too high mileage for them to retail, so they gave me a call. And that, to be honest, is where I get a lot of my stock from. I don't know a great deal about it. I do know a few things though. It's a 2014, it's a 2-litre turbo diesel, it's done 75,000 miles, and it needs a few £100 spending on it. I'm thinking though this could be a £6,500–, £7,000 car, so if I can keep my spend to around 500 quid, there should be plenty of profit in it for me. I know, for example, it needs the wheels refurbishing. I've been told that there's a crack on a bumper, and it's due a service. But apart from that, it's been described as quite clean and quite tidy. We'll see. Before I agreed to buy this car, I made sure it didn't have a dodgy past using Car Vertical. Now, before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike, I urge you to do one of these checks. It just prevents you buying a lemon. So you can see with this Golf convertible, it's never been stolen, never had a mileage rollback, there's no outstanding finance on it, and it's never been involved in a recorded accident. So we're all good on all four fronts. In addition to that, we can see the MOT history, which is all quite good. No hideous advisory items there over the years, and every single year the mileage has been quite consistent. If you'd like to do one of these checks for yourself, you can save yourself 20% off each and every check that you do if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, all one word, or alternatively, click the link below in the video description. As a used car dealer, I've tried dozens of these companies over the years, but Car Vertical I've just found to be the most thorough. It checks hundreds of millions of cars across dozens of countries' databases, so it isn't just a UK thing. Right then, let's go and see this Golf convertible. I just hope I haven't jinxed it with my optimism. Anyway, I'll see you there. Well, I've just picked up the cheap VW convertible and it's going to keep me busy. It's not too bad. I've got an engine light on, standard VW. You can't beat a bit of German build quality, can you? So I've got that to sort out. Now, happily, there are no symptoms. It isn't in limp mode. It's got plenty of power, actually. They drive really, when they're working properly, they drive really well, these 2-litre diesels. It's not a bad spec. Oh, I've got my VW bottle opener. They always go missing. So, you know, I can't complain, can I really? Condition-wise, I've seen better. I've bought better. Not this week, sadly, but I have bought better. It needs a very good clean, it needs a very good buff, because the paint is a bit flat, or looks a bit sorry for itself. Now, it needs to go to Jimmy the Magician anyway, because there's a crack on the rear bumper. What I'll do next, actually, is find a lay-by somewhere, and then give you a quick tour. But yeah, there's a crack on the rear bumper, so that needs repairing and repainting. And while it's there, he may as well run his buffer machine all around it. Try and give it that mirror finish. The roof needs a very good wash. It's all covered in green stuff. But it drives nicely. The history's pretty good. It's had a cam belt, so I don't need to worry about that. I think it's just your standard kind of prep after that. Service, MOT. Oh, the wheels need doing. The wheels are in a bit of a state. And I think they should be diamond cut, so that might be a job for Prestige. But it drives fine, it pulls well, it doesn't smoke, everything else works. I haven't, you might think I'm terribly naive now, but I haven't tried the roof. You can witness me trying that. Don't you worry your little head, I'm pretty sure it'll work. I've driven about 20 miles in this now, and it's all right. It's like a Golf. I need to stop with these dad jokes. If I could be bothered, I'd have something like this as a commuter car, because I'd save a fortune on fuel. My fuel bills are astronomical. I know what the reason is, it isn't a surprise, it's because I do 70 miles a day in a 5-litre supercharged Range Rover. I know what the cause is, but if I did 70 miles in something like this, I'd only use 1.5 gallons of fuel, wouldn't I? What was that? Oh, that's not good. Can you hear that sloshing noise? It's like being by the ocean, isn't it? Lovely Caribbean beach somewhere, with a mango daiquiri in hand, watching the world go by. You ready? Ready to hear the waves? Why didn't I work harder at school? Why didn't I go into law or medicine? Still, good news about the bottle opener. Bit of wheel spin there. Take all my anger out on this little Germanic turd. Flies, actually. Even with all the weight of the water in the back. Should watch it round bends, because I can't imagine there being a ballast. I'd hate to roll it. Terrible, wouldn't it? It sounds like the water's quite high up. It doesn't sound like it's in the sill. So I'm gonna have to investigate that. See why it's collecting water there. I don't remember these being optioned with a fish tank, so I don't think it should be there. I didn't hear that for like the last 20 miles. How weird. Mind you, I was listening to the radio. It's got DAB. I was minding my own business, listening to Capital Dance, pretending everything was all right, and I know what I'm doing with my job. But in reality, it was all crumbling around me. Ah dear. The description said it had done 75,000 miles. Now it's actually only done 74,357. Bit of a win there, isn't there? Bit of a little win. Here we go, then this lay-by that I'm weirdly familiar with. It's making me seasick. I'll tell you what then, before we get out of the car, let's try this roof. You ready for this? I think it's down here somewhere. Doesn't sound... Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. Should take my camera mount off the windscreen, shouldn't I, first? Not the windscreen, the side window. You ready again? Let's go. Round two. Always worry of getting a wet neck. I'll be honest, after hearing all that water, I wasn't expecting the roof to work, so... Oh. There we go. It works. Result. If we pop it back up again, and just sort of stop it halfway, let's go and see if we can see any water. No. It sounds like it's here somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like it's high up. Strange. Let's close it then anyway. What are you up to today? Enjoying yourself? You living your best life? There we go. All right, let's knock this off then. Like I say, we do have an engine light on. All proud for some reason. I mean, the actual condition of the interior isn't bad. With a good old clean, good old valet, it will clean up all right. The seat isn't worn badly. It's sort of half leather, half Alcantara. It's all right. Hasn't been smoked in, it's fairly clean. So yeah, it's not too bad really. This is what I was telling you about the roof. It's just full of probably tree sap, bird excrement, that sort of stuff. It's got its original plates. I'll replace those anyway. And that is the crack I was talking about. That's the crack. What's the crack? That's the crack. That needs repairing and repainting. But yeah, the whole car just looks a bit flat, doesn't it? Can you imagine the MPG improvement once I get rid of all that water? It's not bad, is it? I bought worse. We've got fogs, so something, isn't it? Gotta be optimistic. These are the wheels, which are a bit of a state, aren't they? What's the brand of the tyre? A Sailwin. No expense spared. Moving to the back, we've got, that genuinely is a new one on me, that. A Sportway 56. Oh, it's another Sailwin. We've got matching Sailwins. What about on the near side? Nope, we've got a Sportex on this side. This is a Triangle Sportex. Didn't feel like treating it to a Sailwin on this side. What about near side front? Oh, we've got it. Right, we've got 3 Sailwins and a Sportway. I don't want to go into graphic detail there, but I've just crouched down to check the brand of that tyre and kind of sat on a nettle. So my day's just gone from bad to worse. What should we do first? What should we do first? Can't give it back, because that's not really an option. Just have to get on with it, I suppose, won't we? I'll run it to my mechanics for a service, MOT, sort out the engine light, and I suppose try and get hold of a bilge pump or something and get rid of all that water. Leave it with me. Wish me luck. This is a bit of a project, isn't it? What can you do for nettle stings, by the way? I haven't had one since I was a kid. Certainly never had one on my backside. There's no rattling clutch though, so we don't have a noisy flywheel or anything. We're all good. All good, all positive. Leave this with me for a few days then, and I will have an update for you with... Let's not kid ourselves, there's going to be a horrendous bill here, isn't there? There's going to be a massive overspend. See ya. And we're back in the cheap Golf convertible, and I've picked possibly the worst day to film this ending. It's hammering down with rain, and it's cold and miserable. I've got to try and photograph this shortly and make it look its best, so wish me luck. I hope you'll all agree though, I think I've done my job with this one. It looks really good. I have overspent though. I spent a lot more than I intended to, but I'm quite pleased with the outcome. I mean, take a look at the bodywork now and the wheels. They look really good. After we last spoke, I ran it down to my mechanic with quite a list. If you remember, there was water sloshing around, I thought in the doors or in the back. It turns out it was in the sills. So that was drained. It had a service, an MOT. It needed rear brake discs and pads. And also, what else did it need? Oh, there was an engine light on, that's right. The engine light was weirdly, I've had this before actually, it was the throttle pedal. So that needs to be replaced. Quite an expensive part, but luckily it didn't take an awful long time to fit. Sadly, that meant my bill at my mechanics was, well, it was in two parts actually, and they were both quite hefty. From there, it went to have its wheels done. Now, if you remember, they were quite a mess, and now they look, well, I know I keep saying this, but they look really good. When they're not all curbed and battered, those diamond cut wheels do look the part. They're just very easy on the eye. It's the one thing I miss about my last Range Rover, my 2015 Vogue SE. That had those 22-inch turbine wheels that were diamond cut. They looked stunning. I did clip it on a curb in Ancoats once when I went for brunch, but anyway, that's another story. Anyway, back to the Golf. So at that point, it was driving fine. It was mechanically sound. There were no engine lights on. There was no slushing sound every time I braked. So it was all good. And on top of that, the wheels looked like brand new. But the bodywork still let the side down. The white paint was really flat and dull and lifeless, and it had a cracked rear bumper. So I took it down to Jimmy. He repaired the back bumper. He also noticed a bit of rust on one of the front arches, I think. I'll have to check my bill shortly. He painted that for me and then buffed the whole car. And I think you'll agree, it looks pretty stunning. When it came back from Jimmy's, the last job was to get it valeted. It was quite a grubby car, this, so I ran it over to the lads at Tameside Valeting for a full detailed clean. I asked them to concentrate specifically on the roof because it was all mossy and gross looking, and now look at it. They've done a really good job with it as always, and I think that's about it. It's all now completely ready for its new home. That's my last job really, isn't it? Try and find a buyer for it. And that shouldn't be too difficult a job, should it? It's quite a desirable car, this, I think. I could do with finding somebody, perhaps with a VW EOS or something like that. Somebody that wants to upgrade. Although saying that, sometimes people get cold feet about upgrading, don't they? Even when it's a clear and obvious upgrade. The new model could be better in every measurable way, and they still get cold feet about upgrading. It's weird. I've had this for a decade with this job. Occasionally somebody will come to look at the car, they really fancy it, they really like it. They might even take it for a 48-hour test drive, and yet they still get cold feet. Strange, isn't it? Anyway, back to this Golf then. I will park up somewhere scenic and I'll talk you through all my costs. They are quite substantial. Oh, Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Who'd drive around in a 400 grand car? It's obscene, isn't it? Right, here will do then. I'm trying to take some shelter in these trees. The only downside with having a fabric top, you hear everything. Okay, then let me get my bills out. And I suppose I should get my calculator out alongside it. So I paid £4,000 for the car. What else did I do? £70 for a valet. £180 for the wheels, which is quite a bargain actually, I think you'll agree. So that's £4,250. Then we've got the bills. So the first bill was MOT, PDI, new rear brake disc, new rear brake pads. That was £250 and 35 pence. 250, 35. The second bill, ready for this one. This is where it starts to get a little bit expensive. A throttle body at £254, a throttle pedal at £185, some bolts, disconcertingly vague, £15.95. and labour, £75. So my total second bill at my mechanics was £413.94. The price is creeping up here now. Now, happily, my bill at Jimmy's, as always, was very fair. So what's he done? Repair rear, near side bumper corner and repaint. Remove rust on offside front wing and repaint. Wash, clay bar, buff, polish, full vehicle and touch-in and general clean, inclusive of paint and materials. My grand total there was £280. So £280 to the total there. I think that's about it. I've just put £25 of fuel in it. I may as well count that. I haven't replaced the plates, they were all right. So my grand total on this 2014 VW Golf Cabriolet is £5,219.29. Now I thought this car was worth about £7,000. I thought it's 6,995 all day long. Tyre light. Low tyre pressure. It's not an engine light, don't panic. I do get PTSD with these bings and bongs though. What I'm thinking of doing though, when I loaded the car onto Auto Trader before, it gives you a suggested retail price. Now it suggested £7,400. based on good condition, which this one now is. So I thought I might advertise this for £7,250, £7,295 perhaps. I think that's a fair price considering everything it's had done and the way it looks right now. So I might do that. So if I can get £7,200 for it, I'll have made £2,000. That isn't, well, that's gross profit, it isn't net. So don't get carried away. I've got VAT and tax to come out of that, but still, that would be quite a result really, wouldn't it? £2,000. So that's about it, guys. Thank you once again for watching. I'm gonna go and get this in the showroom now and dry it off. The only thing is I can't fold the roof back yet, can I? Because if I do that, it'll all be wet. I'll have to leave it to dry. Anyway, that's my own little problem. So yeah, cheers guys. Thanks for watching. What else do I need to tell you? You know it all, don't you? Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. Cheers to Car Vertical for sponsoring another video. That's about it, isn't it? See you next time. Adios.